week's worth. You compared it with what you needed to buy.
Yeah, but if you're only making $2 a day, why, or $1 a day,
Oh, sure.
why that mink had got to be worth a lot. Walk, 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 huh? Are you walking? Huh? Are you walking? Yep. Different because you got light on this time. You're gonna try that and see how it works.
1916, I think
Well,
we
it
moved
just
on
must
to
have
the,
come on by itself.
down to the
It don't
river
make any difference.
in 1916.
Yeah. When did you get the first car? When did the first car, your dad get the first car?
That's for 1917 or 18.
Yeah. Model T?
Yeah.
Model T Touring, huh? Was that a pretty big deal, or was everybody was into it by that time? So
It was a big deal as far as my dad was concerned. I think he paid about $300 for it, brand new. But there were so many things that we go through 2 and 3 tires to drive the car going back.
yeah,
Brand new tires.
they just fall apart.
You know.
Of course, you didn't have roads that were worth the crap then either, I suppose.
Oh well, God, you could take right across the damn prairie here now and drive the car going back without a flat tire.
Yeah. Yeah, the quality of the tire wasn't that good, and the roads weren't that good.
There wasn't such a thing as a gravel road. There was just dirt trails. Think about when I talk about cars. I suppose I rode in every kind of an automobile that money could buy. From 1914 to 1925. 14 to 1924. They had, out in Romness, they had an Oakland, Overland, Studebaker, Hopmobile, Dort, Maxwell,
They went to light.
Ford. They had 2 kind of Chevrolets, and they had a Hudson and an Essex. Oh God, I don't know.
That was just the people in Romness Township.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dodge was the favorite car. That if anybody could get a hold of a Dodge, it is lasting.
Uh-huh. And when you bought a car, you probably didn't know how to drive it when you bought it. A lot of people didn't.
Oh, sure.
The first time they ever drove a car is when they drove their first car.
Took an instructor with them from the shop where you bought it. The instructor sat alongside of you and drove.
Half an hour.
Oh yeah. And then they go right into a damn stubble field where they're taking the crop off. These instructors would have certain places in the field then where you'd drive.
How many of them rolled their car within the first 2-3 weeks they owned one?
Well, there was an Egermont that lived on the Ulegard place. He come into where the police office is now. That was King Bruns. He come in there and he bought a car. I suppose he paid cash for it, I don't know. This was on a Saturday. Must have been on a Saturday afternoon because we went to town in the Model T. Went down to the river and followed the west side of the river from 45 and down through Mervyn Eskelson and west past on the way into town. Well, anyhow, when we got west, north of Mervyn Eskelson, or we were about a mile north. We seen a big cloud of smoke, dirt, and him and his son came down the Mervyn Eskelson Hill and turned and went north, about a quarter of a mile north of Mervyn Eskelson. This dirt storm showed up, and when we got there, why, the car was laying in a heap. The two weren't hurt, but they were laying. The car was laying in a heap. It was a touring car. And the windshield was broke, and the front wheels were haywire.
They just run off the road or what?
Yeah, I lost control. You know, Model T.
Yeah.
He lost control of it. He got in the car with our family and drove to Cooperstown and bought another one right there.
Just, that's typical.
He told the dealer to go and pick it up. He didn't want it anymore. But it's the same kind of a car. I have a Model T Touring. Oh. And he bought the same darn thing over again, and he got home with it.
Yeah. Oliver tells of a guy that stopped in Fargo and bought an airplane, Cub. And he went to take off with the Cub and he crashed it at the end of the runway, and he just left it out there and come back and bought another one. He got that one off and went home with it. I thought that's pretty good.
Yeah, well, that's the way it is, you know.
You gotta have a lot of confidence in yourself after you just crash one and get right in another one and take off.
Yeah. All those cars. I know the Studebaker was an expensive car. The Hudson was an expensive car. But then you got to the Hopmobile and the Essex, the Oakland and the Overland. A lot of Overlands bought. There was a car dealer in Jesse that sold Overlands. Sold a lot of them.
Are they cheaper than a Model T?
No, they were expensive. Model T was the cheapest. Chevrolet, the small Chevrolet. They built two sizes, a bigger Chevrolet and a small one. The small one was down in comparison to the Ford. But the Fords were more popular. There had been more of them sold, and there was more trained mechanics. When you went to a town someplace, there was always a mechanic that could.
And parts too, probably.
Yeah, if you needed parts, like Cooperstown, King Brunts, they all carried parts from Model Ts.
Yep.
And that didn't change. Oh, the body style changed a little bit every year. But nothing changed on the Ford until the Model A come along. Then they changed the whole damn thing, motor and all.
Yep, a lot better then. What the Model T run, about 40 miles an hour? Top speed?
Model T, oh no. That is downhill, wide open.
Yeah.
It drove 25 miles an hour would be exceedingly fast.
Considering the road conditions and everything, I could see that would be.
John Phillips had a Maxwell, kind of a roadster deal they had a kid. and they bought a special seat back, so they mounted back of the seat that he operated the car from, and the passenger. So she was sitting back by herself in the seat, and there was no such a thing as safety belts. What the heck? You never thought of that.
Mm-hmm. No, they never even had such a thing, or an idea of it.
My grandpa, my mother's dad, would race with cars. He had a team of horses, buggy horses, long-legged things. And he could start out of Cooperstown with the buggy and come out to the Langer corner before a car could get there.
Kind of put cars down, didn't it?
Yeah, well, he took pride in being able to buy a team that could outrun the car.
That'd be funny.
At Studebaker, Dr. Promise's grandpa, great-grandpa, I suppose it would be, I don't know. He had that Studebaker, and that is about a 9-passenger. There was quite a bit of room between the front and the back seat, and you could fold 4 chairs, seats, up, right from the floor and up.
Pretty fancy, wasn't it?
Oh, it was fancy, you bet it was, yeah.
Yeah, that's that replaced the horse and the bicycle, I guess. Did they ever have bicycles they could go across country with worth a darn?
Oh gosh, yes, sure.
They had big fat tires that would go over the
No,
rough
they
terrain.
weren't big fat tires. Bicycle tires in those days was about like that. The cross-country bikes. I think Mike has got one out here.
Yeah.
It's a smaller tire,
Yeah.
but hard as a rock. They'd pump them up so
The dirt didn't bother them that much then, for carrying.
if they got in the loose dirt, they'd have problems. It'd be heavy pedaling. But
I guess you must have had
they'd race with automobiles
yeah.
and horses.
Did,
My oh shucks now. You visited with what's his name? Over at Malta, Montana.
Bud Johnson?
Bud Johnson's dad was in on the racing business, and my dad was in on it, and but you remember this Rude? He was supposed to have come to. Did he come to Jean's wedding?
Norman Rude.
In Norman?
His dad was in on it too, I suppose.
Yeah,
huh?
his dad was an exceptional race, had endurance. Exceptional endurance. He'd let them start out from Pat Hoagland. Oh, probably in those days it'd be 7, 8, 10 bicycles. They'd all start out, for Cooperstown. And he waited until they got to halfway to town, and then he'd start out. And he beat them to town.
Oh, man, that's...
God, he had endurance.
Yeah, I guess so. I thought he'd give him a 15-minute head start, but no.
Oh, God, no, they were... but he had exceptional